Hello and welcome. This is Jasur from Shanghai Silk Road and JRN Firm. If you're new in this channel, we're a corporate consultancy company. We provide a range of corporate services related to starting a company in China and of course post-registration services, that is structuring, restructuring, opening your corporate bank account, getting your tax numbers here, filing for VAT refund, and getting special licenses, and also liquidation like we mentioned before. And we also specialize in drafting different contracts in English and in Chinese as well. We have licensed lawyers in our Shanghai office. Now, in this video, I'd like to answer frequently asked questions related to WFOE, wholly foreign owned enterprise in China. Specifically, these are three questions we received recently related to WFOE visa. That means if you open a WFOE here as a foreigner in China, then you can apply for your foreign employees visas under the name of the same company. So of course, people sometimes get confused regarding the rules and policies. So here we go. The question number one: which option is easier and costs less to get work permit? A, director and supervisor. Now, when we talk about the easiness and also the costs, we need to understand one thing. Actually, talked about these elements before. The process for visa for foreign employees under any WFOE is the same, except maybe teaching, because teachers have special type of visas, so we're not going to discuss that. But generally speaking, the office workers we're talking about related to running a business like HR, for example, or administrative assistant or manager of the company, even director of the company, any like office staff for your WFOE, the process for visa is the same. There's no hard, there's no easy process. The same process applies for all the foreign employees in your WFOE. General requirements say that you need to be able to provide minimum bachelor's degree from recognized university. In this context, recognized university means that your university should be listed in UN database, United Nations database. You can easily Google it and see if your university is in that list. So the second requirement for your degree is your degree should explicitly say that it's a master's degree or bachelor's degree or PhD degree. Unfortunately here, no equivalent diplomas are accepted. For example, sometimes we get approached by different clients. They ask, can my diploma equivalent to bachelor's be used towards my visa in China? The answer is no, you cannot. You have to be able to present exactly what they are asking, bachelor's degree, and it has to say on the diploma openly, clearly. And if it's master's, it has to mention that as well. Or the PhD, it has to mention that this is a PhD or doctorate degree. Okay, it's not some sort of equivalent or postgraduate diploma. Okay, so that is very important. Now the diploma, after the diploma, what's required as a standard for any foreign employees is you have to be able to provide at least 2 years work experience in order to qualify for general type category B work permit in China. 2 years work experience should be either before your education or after your education. It should not overlap with your education period. Okay, if it overlaps, then it's going to create a little bit confusion, and obviously they're going to ask a lot of questions, supporting documents, etc., etc. So better to present the work experience letter, proof from your ex-employer before your education or after your education. Education here means your degree. Now, in that letter, your ex-employer should mention a couple of very important things. Number one, what kind of position you held, from which date to which date, very important. And also, what kind of duties did you have? What kind of responsibilities did you have? They have to mention it on the letter as well. And lastly, they have to also mention that how much salary paid for your job, because these are the very basic elements, logically even think about, these are the basic elements should be naturally on that the proof of employment letter. Okay, that's kind of experience letter. And of course it goes without saying that this letter should be printed in company's headed paper. Okay, it should not be printed on some random print paper, white, without any information. Of course it has to come on official paper of the ex-employer. If the company is shut down, many people also ask us, what if my ex-employer doesn't exist anymore? Well, unfortunately, in this case, you just have to pursue them, and even if they are shut down, there should be some sort of records about your employment there, because in each country, legally speaking, companies, even after they're closed, they should keep records of their, the transactions, the filings, bookkeeping, and also the employment. All right, so you can talk to them and try to get that. I mean, this is not an excuse. I just want to be very clear. You cannot say that to the immigration office that my ex-employer is not there anymore, so therefore I cannot provide. It doesn't work like that. You cannot use this kind of excuse. Now, after the 2-year work experience, there is another very important requirement towards any foreign employee who want to get a work permit here, which is non-criminal background check from your country of citizenship. This is very important. In China, for now, they are asking for non-criminal background check from your country of citizenship, not from the country where you have lived for some time or you are living currently. For example, there are some clients we have who live in Dubai, but they are the citizens of US or Canada, etc. If that's the case, you are still required to get a non-criminal background check from your country, okay? Your country of citizenship, not from the UAE, okay? Or some other country that you are resident of, for example. It doesn't really, require it here, okay? I know that some countries, for immigration purposes, they require non-criminal background check from each country you lived, for example, more than 6 months, but that's not the case in China right now. Maybe it will change later, we don't know. So this is like, general requirements. Of course, on top of that, once you are here, because work permit is only done while inside China. So once you are here, you are also required to go through a medical check. There is a designated hospital. So you just have to go to that hospital with appointment and go through a special medical check. And after the medical check, they're going to issue a certificate, health certificate. So you have to, collect all that documents, diploma, non-criminal background check, 2-year work experience, health certificate from the designated hospital. And on top of that, you will have to present the company documents here in China, your WFOE documents. And plus, of course, you're going to attach office agreement, physical office agreement, your residential address lease agreement. You will have to rent a place to live here. Many people ask, can I use office and apartment together? Unfortunately, 99% of the time it's refused. They don't recognize residential buildings as office, but there are some 1%, there are some special buildings. But bear in mind, those special buildings are going to be a little bit expensive, because those special buildings, in their lease freehold documents, actually, it's mentioned that this building, for example, can be used for residential and commercial purposes. So you can find such buildings through agents, and you can use the apartment as office as well. But I really do not recommend that, because especially when it comes to issuing visas to foreigners, immigration office is very, very strict nowadays. Even if the building is special building that can be used for residential and commercial purposes, immigration office, that particular officer who is dealing with your documents application, he or she might not like this fact, okay? He or she may look at this element as kind of, this person or this company is trying to save money, or they're not here to do real business. Maybe they don't have enough budget, because at the end of the day, the most important part here, that foreign company is spending or creating money here, okay, bringing investment. So naturally speaking, they look at it from that angle, okay? They look at it as a potential investment into Chinese economy. So if you show that you're trying to save up money, etc., it might be good from business perspective, but it's not that recommended from immigration perspective. So to my recommendation, actually, to make everything is easier, it's better to get office separate and your home address, apartment separate from each other. If you mix them, potentially your application might get into trouble, and you will create a lot of unnecessary questions, okay? So this is general requirements towards every type of employee under this WFOE. It can be director of the company, it can be supervisor of the company, it can be IT specialist of the company, etc. And now there is a cost element as well. The person is asking in the same question. So which one is cheaper? Again, the cost of visa, work permit and work visas here in China, they are the same for everyone. Okay, it's not cheaper for some specialists or cheaper some for positions. It doesn't work like that. Even if it's a company director's visa or supervisor's visa, or even some office workers visa, okay, just administrative assistant maybe. All the visas cost are the same, but the cost varies depending on the length of the visa you get. If it's less than 1 year, currently in 2023, April, it will be around 400 yuan. And if it's 1 year or equal to 1 year, then they will ask you to pay it around 800 yuan. Okay, if it's more than 1 year, of course, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. But these are the costs for, like I said, 2023. Okay, you can convert yuan based on your current conversion rates in your country. So once again, less than 1 year, it's 400 yuan. 1 year or equal to 1 year, it's 800 yuan currently. Okay, so it's the same for everyone. The next question we get is, what are the minimum salary requirements in each case? Now, minimum salary requirements, of course, that's a very important question, because potentially it's going to affect your visa as well. Because like I mentioned in the previous question, immigration is going to look at the whole case as potential investment into Chinese economy, okay? So that's something, money is coming into our economy. This is how you have to look at the case as well. So the higher the salary, the better actually. But average salary in China for foreign employees, irrespective of the position, starts from, not in China, but in Shanghai. Let's focus on different cities, because there are some poorer cities, maybe smaller cities, the salary amount is different, but in Shanghai, it's tier 1 city, the average salary is around 12,000 yuan currently, okay? Minimum 12,000 yuan for foreign employee. If it's less than that, of course, it's going to affect the visa application. They will see, okay, well, the salary is not even enough to rent a house or an apartment. Even if it's enough, it's just barely enough, you know. How are you going to make a living here? All right, so that kind of logical question pops up. So you have to be very careful. Don't we don't really recommend writing or giving a bare minimum salary to your employees. You have to at least give them above average. So the recommended amount, just like we mentioned in previous videos, is around 25 or 20,000. Because foreign employees, just to be honest here, nobody is going to work for less than 20,000 yuan right now in this current economy in Shanghai. Because honestly, for example, if they have a family, they want to rent an apartment here, the apartment prices are very expensive. In the city center, for example, the minimum starting point is around 16,000 yuan right now. And that is in 2023, at the time of making this video. So if they have a family, then they're not going to squeeze into one studio apartment, for example. It's going to be very hard. And also, We have seen such cases. The immigration officers question that. They say that, who are you living with? Who are you sharing the apartment with? If you've got, for example, 2 kids or 3 kids, they're going to question that. How are you going to live? I mean, it happened. So whatever I'm saying here, it's based on our practice here. All right. So that's why minimum salary requirements, there's no official, but you need to consider the living costs here. Just to summarize, okay, living costs of the place where your visa is being issued. If it's Shanghai, the living costs here, like I said, recommended salary for foreign employees is 20,000 yuan per month. And that's irrespective of the position. Of course, if it's a company CEO, then naturally they're going to expect more salary. If it's just IT technician, for example, or just assistant, or I don't know, a very simple employee without any executive title, then the amount I recommended probably would be enough. And let's go to the last question, which is it essential that director must physically come to China, or the supervisor can open the company account on behalf of the director? We mentioned this several times before. Unfortunately, in China, banks do not accept power of attorney from company directors when it comes to opening an account. Okay, of course, for different other tasks, they might accept the supervisor of the company. For different tasks, maybe just go to the bank with the company stamp and company's documents and just present them, okay? Because in China, most of the things when it comes to the banks, they are done manually. Why? Because like we mentioned before, foreign currency is under the control of the government. So you cannot just use your online banking and transfer thousands of dollars or millions of dollars just using the online banking. It does not happen here like that. So for that, actually, you need to send your representative with company stamp and company's documents, and that person can be supervisor. But like I said, when opening the bank account, director must be present. You cannot just skip this visit as a director of the company. You have to plan to travel to China. Once you travel to China and the account is open, you can leave your company documents and stamps with either accountant that we provide here with power of attorney, and or you can employ somebody, or your supervisor, for example, office manager. You can leave your documents with them. They can perform some simple tasks like that. They can go to the account, the bank counter, and they can present those documents and facilitate the exchange or facilitate the transfer, for example. But when it comes to accessing the account, when it comes to making changes, when it comes to, for example, closing down or even withdrawing funds from the company's account, only the director has that authority. Director alone, okay, which is the CEO of the company, and director is the signatory at the bank. Okay, so when I say that facilitate the transfer of funds from your company account to some account, for example, in China or sometimes abroad, whoever you send to the bank, they can only present the documents. Okay, bank still requires your signature. So this part is very important. So don't take us wrong like that. You said that, and we cannot do that. So why did you say that? I don't want to create any confusion here. So once again, when you send your representative to the bank in China, they can only bring documents. That's it, as the representative of the company. But they cannot actually sit there and sign documents and transfer money. No, all these documents should be pre-signed by you, meaning your representative can contact the bank and say that, well, we are planning to send this amount of money, for example, to this company in foreign currency. I'm not talking about the yuan, in foreign currency. And then banks will, for example, can give you some forms, and you can actually request those forms and then send to your company director. Okay, company director, if he or she is abroad, they can sign the document and return to you. Once returned into China, then your company representative can go to the bank, stamp the forms, and facilitate that the transfer, the whole transfer. So that's kind of a little bit bureaucratic here, but it's totally manageable. In practice, what we do is actually, if the clients are okay, we're going to get all the company stamps and company documents, so we can keep them in our office with the accountant. The accountant then can visit the bank as the representative of the company when it comes to foreign currency exchange, foreign currency transfers. For the yuan now, when it comes to yuan, RMB transactions, then you can use your online banking without any issues, even from abroad, okay? Because when you open a yuan account, the bank is going to give you USB tokens that you can use on your laptop, or you can use with your mobile phone. So those USB tokens can be kept by yourself abroad in your home country or your office, and you can actually transfer funds in yuan to different companies inside China. Okay, that's very important. Outside of China, your signature as the company director is required, and also you need to send some representative to the bank with the company documents and stamps. Okay, of course that bank is going to ask for your signature as well. So I hope it makes it very clear and answers this question. If you have any related questions or anything at all related to our services that I mentioned in the beginning of the video, feel free to contact us. You will have our contact details on the screen, and this phone number is actually linked to Telegram, WhatsApp, and WeChat. These are the easiest communication platforms, as you know, for quick communication, quick questions and answers. You can feel free to contact us through WeChat, WhatsApp, or Telegram. If you have specific situation, feel free to send us an email, and we will be glad to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.